What's up, fight fans? This is Kurtaville with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I have some new news concerning Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachencko. The final press conference was today. I just finished it. And let's talk about it. It's time to counterpunch it. And I'm glad in this fight that we've had some type of clarity on how and what really went on between Loma and Lopez, okay? And why was it such a bad blood? Why did Lopez say what he said about Lomachencko, okay? It started in a hotel. And this is really started with Lopez Sr., okay? And if you guys don't know this, let me explain it to you in a nutshell. Lopez Sr. went to talk to Lomachencko, and he felt Lomachencko was disrespecting him, okay? And according to Lomachencko, because it's always two sides of the story, right? Lomachencko said he wasn't sober, and he said, yeah, my son's going to tear your head off. And, of course, he had security, and the security of the hotel or whatever, grabbed him back and kept him at bay while he continued to insult his son. Now, if you look at Lopez Sr., he's from Honduras, but by way of New York, you can tell. He has New York in him. And a lot of times you can read into somebody that they don't like you. A lot of people can give you a certain look or an expression, their tone, that signifies that they don't like you. Okay, now according to Lopez Sr., he was like, well, I don't know what happened. Well, I think I know what happened. Lopez gave him a look that he didn't like. He felt was disrespectful. Plus he had a little sip, on something, and that'll actually help tip you to that level anyway, especially when something pisses you off. It's pretty much amplified at that point once you're a little topsy-turvy or whatever. So I think he was drinking on a little something. It's fight night, go figure. Okay. And Lopez Sr., being the person that he was, started talking shit. Like, hey, my son's going to rip your head off. You looked at me funny. You disrespected me. Now, Loma, I never really seen him to do that type of thing. But if Loma did look at him crazy, because we can't say what Lopez Sr. saw, okay? He can only tell you what he saw. We can't say, oh, he didn't look at you crazy. We don't know that. He might as well did. Or if he didn't, that's how Lopez took it. Now, the question is, only Loma himself knows that, right? In his heart, that, hey, I looked at him crazy, because you can give a person a certain look, and the look could be not what a person takes it or how that person takes it. It could just been something that person just looked down and looked him up. But I think what happened, Loma acknowledged him, and he acknowledged that, hey, this dude's drunk. You see what I'm saying? And then maybe he looked at him, and Lopez felt disrespected because he knew that Loma was the guy, okay? So when it got back to Lopez Jr., Teofimo Lopez Jr., he was like, well, what did he do? Well, obviously, they had a talk. Junior and Senior had a talk, like, hey, I'm going to ride with you, I'm going to back you, but like, let's just focus on the fight at hand. So, obviously, the abrasiveness was a little out of sorts for Lopez Jr. if he had to pull his father to the side and say, hey, man, kind of chill, bring that down a bit. You know what I mean? But I got you. I'm going to support you. I'm always going to back you, but just bring that down a bit. And that's where it started, okay? Now, Colin, I think from that, it just originated and kind of mutated into his son adopted it and started saying that he is a diva, because you look at Loma. Loma is a guy that's the two-time Golden Olympian. I think he's in 08 and 2012. Golden Olympian. Has beaten everybody that's been in the ring with him. The only person that has beat him and he never had a chance to avenge it was Orlando Salido. But this is the amateurs, right? Amateurly, he's this god. And I think what it is, because of the perks that Lomachencko had coming from that high of an amateur level. And you have to remember, this is the Ukraine. The Ukraine, just like the Klitschko's, they look at the Olympics over the professional rankings. They look at that like a world achievement accomplishment. Okay, that's how they view it. That's why Vladimir wanted to go back into the Olympics, because they viewed the Olympics way up here versus, maybe professional boxing up here. But this is definitely amateur boxing or Olympics above the professional rankings. Okay, so he already had this type of accomplishments in amateur. So I think his second pro fight, he turned pro. He fought for a championship. And a lot of people would never get that type of gratitude or opportunity, right? So I feel that if it's anything, if anything is the question, it would be Teofimo having to do it a certain way. And he looks at Loma like, hey, yeah, you did get all these benefits, all these French benefits, all these opportunities just because you were a golden Olympian, which Teofimo Lopez himself was a pretty accomplished amateur fighter himself. He has the experience. His dad did push him. And I feel it's not jealousy, because I hear that a lot. I heard on my old comments on my last video about these two guys that Teofimo's jealous. It's not jealousy at all. If that wouldn't even be the word to say if it was the case. It would be envy, okay? That means that Teofimo sees that Loma has had opportunities, perks, benefits of being a two-time golden Olympian, okay? So when other people see that, they see that, okay, yeah, he's pampered in a sense. So that's why he calls him a diva. So I get why those diva terms and expressions came about, just like that. Now, of course, with Loma, you would never get this. And he may say, and he looked nonchalant throughout the whole press conference. And he looked as though he was just calm, like he always is. But a lot of people will see him, and if they are envious of him, I could see why they start calling him diva and things like that. Maybe like he definitely got perks and advantages and opportunities over other people. But for him to walk and talk, for someone to say, well, he looks and he walks and he talks like that, that's just their own perception of him. Okay, so not saying that's absolutely true or whatever, but that's how they looked at it. So that's the backstory. Now, moving on in the fight, there wasn't really a lot of trash talk and stuff like that. It really wasn't. Not a lot of face-to-face. But something that did touch me about about Teofimo was Teofimo and his father. And I didn't see this interview initially, but they had a backstory. They had a previous interview with Teofimo where he broke down and he was like, I wish my father would be my father instead of my trainer sometimes. I think he gets too carried away with this shit. And I would really want him to become more of a father figure than a trainer. And a lot of times you get that type of problem. And the funny thing, the first thing I thought about was Oscar De La Hoya and his father. And his father was not a trainer, but his father was always hard on him. And all he really wanted to do, because, Oscar lost his mother at an early age, okay, of cancer. She died of cancer. So Joel De La Hoya, which is Oscar's father, was a real hard on him. And Oscar accomplished all this, got all these, got this gold Olympic and all this, that, and the other. But he never really had the respect of his father like that. He never really had that father-like influence that he wanted from his father. This is what this reminds me of.
One more shot.
And that's what he feels that he wish he wanted. And when someone breaks down like that, that just shows you that there's definitely a issue that should be handled between the father and the son. Okay, so definitely that was something worth mentioning in the interview. And none of them really talked a lot. It was, like I said, I thought it was going to be more of a shit talking. You a bitch, you a diva. No, you don't have the same record as me. You lost once. You know what I mean? I got the undefeated record. I'm knocking people out. It ain't going the distance. I'm knocking you out. You know, I thought it was going to be like one of those Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather type of shit-talking events, but it wasn't. But both guys look ready. They look focused. And that's pretty much it. You know, and it looks good. It looked good. I can't wait for the weigh-in. But that's my take on it. 53 to 47%. So it's damn near 50-50 on the people that think Loma will beat him. You know, it ain't that bad of a difference, people, because they did a poll. And I'll do a poll. A poll of who I think or who you guys will pick. So you guys get a choice on this channel. I'll put it in community. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Vasily Lomachencko, Teofimo Lopez Jr., final press conference. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.